Hello, my dear students of class 8, and welcome back to your English class. Today we will be doing textbook, and today's lesson will be geography lesson. Yes, we are going to do an English class, but we are going to read about geography lesson. Okay, so in the previous lesson that we have done, we read about tsunami. We read about a natural disaster. That natural disaster actually united different people, even animals. Everybody were united in the face of the great calamity. Okay, and those kind of disasters shows us that we are nothing compared to the greatest creations of the universe. That is, the natural disaster tells humans that we do not actually have control over a lot of things. So it is useless to waste our time in hating each other, erecting boundaries between nations, having political fights, having different kinds of communal fights, because in the face of nature, we stand together. We are all in the same strand. Doesn't matter if you are rich or poor, if a natural calamity comes, everybody will be stricken the same way. Okay, now in this chapter, geography lesson, something similar you can draw. Okay, a different kind of chapter this is, but a conclusion which is quite similar to the one in tsunami we can draw. Okay, so geography lesson is a poem by Zulfikar Ghosh. And as I always say about poems, poems are open to a number of interpretation. That is the beauty of a poem. I don't want to talk about all kinds of poem, but most poems which have a deep and inner meaning, which tries to convey some message to us, they can be interpreted in different ways. They are open to interpretation, and that's what makes poetry so beautiful. Okay, so this chapter, geography lesson, is also such a poem which can be interpreted in many ways. And I encourage all of you to think about it. After we complete the poem, read it on your own and try to read between the lines. Okay, try to read the inner thoughts, try to understand what the poet is actually trying to tell us. So Zulfikar Ghosh, as you can see from the name, is a man of Indian origin. He was born in a place which is now a part of Pakistan, but it was previously a part of India. Then after a while, he left Pakistan. That is the place where he was born. I think the name of the place is Sialkot. Okay, it's now in Pakistan, and he has left the country many years. For many years, he is now living in the United States. He is an acclaimed writer with a lot of poetic work, poetry, and prosaic fiction in his name. He has written both poetic and prosaic works. He is famous for them. And he has also composed lots of non-fictional writing as well. Fictional and non-fictional both. You know what non-fictions are, right? Fictions are what is created by the imagination. That means it can be a story, it can be poetry. And non-fictions are kind of like documentation of certain facts, okay, into writing. It can be a travelogue, it can be something related to journalism, okay. It can be a lifestyle related topic, but he's famous for all these kinds of writing. Now let us think about this geography lesson. From the title itself, we can understand that the poet is trying to give us a geography lesson or something which he has himself understood while traveling on an airplane, okay, on a jet plane. So let us find out what he tries to say. Open your book, page number 34, and follow the poem along with me. Can you imagine what your city would look like if you saw it from 10,000 feet above the ground? Neatly planned and perfect in proportion, like a geometric design, it would strike you as something very different from what it actually is while you are in the thick of it. Here is a poet's description of just such a view of the city and some questions that come to his mind. Okay, many of you must have traveled on an airplane, and while the airplane is slowly soaring up, it is soaring up from the ground, it is going up to the sky, you can see that slowly the city from where the aeroplane is leaving. Most probably from Netaji Subhash Chandra Airport, you have taken flight a lot of times, some of you. Okay, so it does not matter if you have been on an airplane or not. You can understand that if you see a place from a certain height, from a certain distance, if you see the place, obviously it will become compact. The entire planning of the city will become more visible. Okay, so he also has a similar kind of experience. He probably has been traveling on an airplane where something struck in his head, some thought came into his head, and he wrote it down in the form of poetry. What is the first thought that came into his head? Let us find out. Okay, the poem is divided into 3 stanzas. Each of the stanzas contain altering thoughts. That is, as he is traveling on the airplane and the airplane is going much above the ground level, the 3 different stanzas gives 3 different levels of understanding from the point of view of the poet. Okay, let us find out what he thinks. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. Seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile. Okay, so when the jet sprang into the sky, jet means the jet aeroplane. When it sprang into the sky, sprang means it moved into the sky. I will give you the word meanings after the end of the session. So when it went into the sky, when it soared into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. It was clear from my point of view, that means as I was seeing it from an airplane, probably from the window of the aeroplane, as I was seeing it, I could understand why the city has developed in that fashion, why it has developed in that manner. Seeing it scaled 6 inches to the mile. That is, you must have done in geography while map pointing, you must see that in one side, I think the bottom right corner, yes, most probably bottom right corner of the map, you will see that there's a scale given. Okay, so it can be given in centimeter or inches. It might be said that 1 centimeter equals to say 100 kilometer, like that. That is called the scale, a measure which is given. So when I am seeing the city from the aeroplane, when the aeroplane has taken a certain height, I can see the city has been scaled 6 inches to the mile. That means 6 inches in my view is equivalent to 1 mile in the city. Okay, so the measure on this just means that the view of the city becomes much more compact as I go up and see it from a higher level. Understood? There seemed an inevitability about what on ground had looked haphazard, unplanned and without style, when the jet sprang into the sky. So there seemed an inevitability about what had seemed haphazard, unplanned and without style. When I was walking in the city, when I was living in the city, the whole city seemed unplanned. All the houses built together, the roads going here and there, crisscrossing through the city, a river going straight through the city and a bridge erected in an unplanned manner. It looked completely unplanned when we are actually living in it. In the thick of it means when we are actually living in the city or we are a part of the city, then it looks completely unplanned. It looks completely haphazard. That means everything, it seems as if they have just planned it out or just erected the buildings, made the roads in a completely haphazard, disorganized fashion. But when I was seeing it from the jet, when I was looking at the city from a certain point of view, from a certain height, I could understand that whatever construction has been done in the city has been done in an inevitable manner, in a planned manner, as if there could have been no other arrangement except the one which is there. There is an inevitability. That means it has to be that way. Okay. that which cannot be avoided. Meaning is written, that which cannot be avoided. That means the plan of the city was the only way the city could have been built. That is what the poet realizes. Okay, so it is the first stanza, and it tells you that the jet aeroplane in which he is flying, it has taken a certain height and he can now see the city. He can now see the plan of the city. He can now see the roads of the city, how the buildings are erected. Okay, so the plan of the city seemed quite fair to him now, and he believes that it has been done in a planned manner and there could have been no other way to make the city this way. Okay, so this is the first stanza of the poem. Next two stanza we will do in our next sessions. So read the entire poem. Take a pencil, write whatever thoughts come into your head and do let me know. Okay, take a picture of what you have written and just give it to me. I want to see how you respond to this poem, because this poem is completely different from the poem that we have done, The Ant and the Cricket. The Ant and the Cricket was a nice poem. It was a fable. Okay, it was adapted from a fable. So it had a completely different undertone, but this poem is a serious poem. It can have a lot of interpretations, and I think your young minds are full of such interpretations. You just need to read the poem and feel it. Okay, so thank you for today's session. Study well.